Professor, without knowing precisely what the danger is, would you say it's time for our viewers to crack each other's heads open and feast on the goo inside?
Yes, I would, Kent.
Ah, Chem Trails. It's like the proverbial barfly who's always there to spout off wacky stories and give us all a chuckle. But, just like the barfly, who's funny for all of 10 minutes, until that is, you get a bit closer and realise he's all alone in the world and stinks of piss. Then it just feels, I don't know, a little bit sad. So, it's time to rally round and dress him down, tell him to straighten himself out, and more importantly, to bugger off because he smells like a fucking penguin enclosure and I'm sat here trying to enjoy my £5 pint of Moretti. Okay, so let's talk about it. And more specifically, this news video which has been recently circulated online. Just for the record, I never ever listen to the news because all they do is lie, except that is when they say anything that kinda, sorta, but not really mentions something that vaguely relates to a baseless theory I vehemently believe in. Now, simple-minded, cherry-picked confirmation bias aside, there just has to be something here that mentions chemtrails. Otherwise, why else would we be seeing someone posting this video as evidence that the government is using chemtrails?
I don't know, Jeff.
Okay, so the lady in this video briefly mentions cloud seeding, and I'm paraphrasing here, but stop me if I'm wrong. She says something along the lines of they are distributing particles in the air to seed clouds and did so in this first clip in an attempt to make the rain drop early overseas to reduce the effect of the storm's flooding. But as you can see by the footage, it clearly didn't work as it's still flooded, and rather badly. So it's not looking good already. Next up, she mentions the Chinese government's attempt to seed the clouds before the Beijing Olympics 2008 in a bid to make it rain more, to improve the surrounding soil and make everything more luscious, green and vibrant. Cool idea. But unfortunately, they also failed to have the desired effect, and the lady says it just ended up making it really foggy. So, a bit shit in all honesty. Now, as far as I can tell, no one's ever denied cloud seeding is a thing. What we deny is chemtrails, and more specifically that chemtrails are even referred to or mentioned at all in the entirety of this 2-minute long video. Literally, I have a link if you haven't seen it, so please, for the love of God, please someone watch that video and pinpoint the moment I've obviously missed where they talk about chemtrails. You won't, because it isn't there. Nobody says it. Ever. Not once. You know, for a bunch of people who constantly tell others to wake up, stop being blind and do your own research, but then to not even properly watch or listen to a short video that they themselves share, I mean, come on.
You must be out of your tiny mind!
Now I'm feeling like stupid.
Cloud seeding as a viable method for controlling localised weather is still obviously in its infancy. I mean, if the mighty Chinese government or the unlimited wealth of the United Arab Emirates can't even get this thing off the ground in 2024, it's obviously not all it's cracked up to be. Now, I say locally because that's what cloud seeding is, localised. It's not regional, and it certainly doesn't have the national capabilities chemtrailers like to think, given our current understanding and severe technological limitations. I'm not going to go into the science of condensation trails and why they can sometimes appear to linger in the air based on specific localized environmental conditions, because frankly there are dozens of articles, YouTube channels and pretty coloured books that do an excellent job at explaining the phenomena. And more importantly, it's getting late, the missus is out, and I just want to order a dirty doner and watch a Van Damme movie. Now, that being said, chemtrailers often show pictures like this and present them as concrete proof of the nefarious inner workings of the elite global cabal. So, what exactly is this? Yeah, that's a fucking common cirrus cloud. How do we know it's a cirrus cloud? Well, because the cloud classification system was invented by a British bloke in the early 1800s who was known as the godfather of clouds. Absolute baller. And as far as I'm aware, he came up with the classification system before modern jet propulsion technology was ever even a thing. Okay, so why would the government be potentially spraying the atmosphere? See, I live in South Wales, and to be fair, it has been particularly wet the past 12 months. Actually, according to the Met Office, the past 12 months in England and Wales, we've experienced the highest ever rainfall since records began all the way back in 1766. So, surely it must be the chemtrails then. Well, actually no. And, oh, the conspiracy theorists are gonna love this one. Yeah, it's from global warming.
Oh shit, here we go again.
See, the warmer the Earth's surface gets, the faster the rate of evaporation, so there's more water being transferred into the atmosphere. And the warmer the atmosphere gets, the more water it is able to hold, because warmer water has increased kinetic energy, so the water molecules move more vigorously, meaning it's less likely to condense and fall as rain until the clouds are absolutely saturated. Additionally, the warmer the air is, the stronger the jet stream winds travel, as the Earth constantly tries to balance itself out and reach a state of thermal equilibrium, you know, because that's how wind works. See, that's what I don't understand with these conspiracy people. Instead of going after legitimate issues that have mountains of science-based evidence to back them up, like cancer causing, pollution, forever chemicals and plastics that affect fertility and play havoc on our endocrine systems like BPA and phthalates and dioxins and pesticides, to name just a few. Chemicals that may reduce sperm quality in adult men, affect fetal development in the womb of adult women, and are linked to developmental, neurological and behavioural issues in children. Chemicals that turn male frogs into female ones and make crocodiles into hermaphrodites with penises so small they are unable to breed. Now this last one is going to be controversial, but fuck it. Chemicals that may in part be responsible for the rise in gender dysphoria in the modern Western world due to their estrogen mimicking properties. It's like, no, fuck that. Chemtrails. Mind blowing. But, I think I get it to an extent. Everyone wants to feel like that they know something that everyone else doesn't, that they know the truth, that they are special, that they are the 1% that knows what the rest do not. And sometimes, yeah, the 1% is right. On average, 1% of the time. It's just basic statistics. And in all honesty, the government does actually lie all the time. They are literally a bunch of wankers, so it's really no surprise why people have no trust in them. I'm just highlighting the absurdities of chemtrails in general. Now, that being said, if the government is spraying the air to make it rain all the time to keep us subdued somehow, which is something I don't fully understand, if anything, surely constant rain is just going to upset people, lower their morale and crush their motivation levels, which in turn will negatively affect their productivity and work and will mean, ultimately, less profit for the billionaires that are supposedly pulling the strings behind the scenes. Someone please make it make sense. As for poisoning people to keep them subdued and sedated, which is something that often gets brought up, well, as far as I can tell, rich people, along with their own children, breathe the same air as we do. So why would anyone go through all this trouble of lying to everyone and creating some unknown fucking zombie lab substance just to then poison themselves with it? Again, make it make sense. But please, don't take my word for it, folks.
Do your own research.
I mean, yeah, I have got an internationally recognised science degree with full honours in environmental conservation, which means I know a thing or two about cloud formations, weather pattern distributions and good old pollution. And yes, I'm fully aware I sound like a wanker right now. But see, the thing is, you watching 2 poorly made Facebook videos and me spending 2 years in college and 3 years in university being grilled by academic doctors and professors is just not the same. I'm sure most of you would think I was out of my tiny mind if I came on here and tried to tell a makeup artist, plasterer or school teacher they've been doing it all wrong their entire professional lives just because I saw a few compelling videos. And guess what? You'd be absolutely right. I have no idea about the complexities involved in contouring faces, skimming ceilings or dealing with hard to reach disobedient children. Just like you probably don't know about the intricacies of the Coriolis effect or thermohaline circulation, and that's okay. For most, it would just be boring anyway. I'm not saying anyone is smarter or better for knowing a particular thing or topic. We just have a tendency to gravitate to what we are interested in, and that's perfectly fine. No one can know everything about everything, so stop pretending like you do. But anyway, all that means nothing. As we all know, the medical establishments and academic institutions are all in on it as well, and they are as corrupt as they are meaningless. Even if those same academic institutions gave us scientists, doctors and engineers that brought us out of the dark ages and into our comfy, convenient, temperature-controlled living rooms. So, by all means, deny science and keep believing in chemtrails. But if you're gonna go with something, I personally think you should go all in, right? So, put down your electromagnetic wireless remotes, vapes, polarized sunglasses, and ultra smartphones that connect by magic through the air to people around the globe instantaneously. Stop using Google Maps to find your nearest McDonald's because they use satellites, which are themselves only made possible thanks to Albert Einstein's theories of special and general relativity. Switch off your quantum LED TVs, air conditioners, heaters, microwaves, refrigerators and fibre optic Wi-Fi that uses light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, or lasers for short. Stop using cars or trains and travelling across large span bridges or staying in high-rise steel structured buildings that rely on a deep understanding of Newton's laws of motion and the laws of thermodynamics. The next time you become really sick or break a bone, don't use x-rays or nuclear magnetic resonance imaging machines, or MRIs for short. And for the love of God, stop flying on 300-ton, 500-mile-an-hour planes that employ futuristic alloys and material science, gee, thanks NASA, to defy gravity and get you to Spain in 2 fucking hours. Planes that obtain £500,000 of thrust thanks to advanced jet propulsion technology to allow you to chill out and moan about legroom and the price of a fucking Jack and Coke. Planes that by your own admission spray poisonous chemicals into the air, so according to your own reasoning, each time you jet off to Marbs or Mykonos, you are literally part of the problem. Stay classy.